Good evening. It's September 1st. This is That's My Take podcast, episode 1. Good evening. I am your host, Nug the narrator. Um, in this pilot episode, we're going to work out a couple kinks, discuss where we're trying to go with this podcast, drop a little news, knowledge, and obviously sports, fashion, life in general, things like that. Let me get my girl's purse out the shot. Speaking of, we will be broadcasting from a podcast studio here soon. This is pretty much, excuse me, this is pretty much again the introductory podcast episode where I'm gonna basically introduce myself and again lay out what we got going on here. Again, the title is That's My Take. Um, I did rename it to THAT apostrophe S away from the DAT apostrophe S. The that I was referring to was obviously I'm from New Orleans. Well, I guess not obviously. I'm sorry. If you don't know me, you have no clue where I'm from. I'm from New Orleans, and I did this podcast about 8 months ago. I think I ended up doing about 20 episodes, and I left it alone. But I decided to come back, and I am back. Again, this is just a pilot episode where we're gonna just break everything down and let you know what we're gonna be doing. Reading from my description on YouTube, and I quote: "Live podcast 2 times a week, discussion topics of interest and more. Your takes and opinions on topics are solely your own. This will be an interactive show, whether it's me answering emails, me answering chats, me answering possible phone calls in the future. This will be an interactive podcast where we're going to be discussing hip hop culture and news, fashion, life in general, sports, headline news and events. And I will always close out with a closing segment called This Day in History, which will be a segment that I had basically whatever the day of the week it is today, September 1st. So something in history happened today. And it's just a random this happened. It's not me scouring the internet for the weirdest thing that happened or the most outlandish thing or gruesome thing. I just pick something that interests me. And again, that's my take. This whole podcast is based on my interest, which my audience will grow to know my interests. And if you rock with me, you'll subscribe, you'll share, you'll comment, you'll interact. If you don't, well, that's cool too. There's 1,001 other podcasts. I'm just one. I broke it down about the name change. We working on lighting. We working on sound in terms of getting y'all the best quality sound. So you may see me in front of a mic and with headphones here in the near future. Um, I don't have it right now, but the border is something that I definitely want in terms of the on-screen border. So I'm gonna make sure I find a way to incorporate that so you can see how you can basically contact me and what topic we'll be discussing that day. All those type of things will be on what they call a showrunner, and that's what we're gonna eventually have as well. Um, I want to thank my mentor and the legend himself, Mr. Starr of the Starr Report, the Objective Perspective, for all that he's done for me and mentoring me and helping me on this comeback. Because again, I did do this podcast. I love doing the podcast, but I got discouraged. I kind of didn't give it 100%, and this time around, I not only plan to give it 100%, I am going to give it 100%. I think a lot of things done wasn't correct. So with his help and aid, I'm changing things up. I scrub my videos so the people that saw my past podcast know of some of the changes that you're gonna see or not see anymore. Let's see. Anything else on the introduction? Oh, I guess just to elaborate on the meaning behind the podcast and the title. A take is an opinion. That's my take is a reference to me having opinions based upon the things that I lay out in front of myself for you, the audience, and also vice versa. Like, this is my take sounded a lot. That's my take sounded better than that's your take. So I went with that's my take, but this is all of our takes. If it's something that I talk about and you have an opinion about it, boom, let's talk about it. Let's debate it. But what we're not going to do is act like we brainiacs and know everything, because everything that I'm putting forward to you in this podcast is opinionated. It's not based on facts. I'm here for entertainment purposes only. I do not know much of anything. Yeah, I've got a college degree, but I am no way, shape, or form taking any type of credit for knowing anything. I learn every day, and again, this podcast is based solely upon opinions. That's it. Um, what else? What else? What else? Basically, yeah, it gets me to my closing line. I am in no way an expert on anything. Takes are all opinion based. For probably the seventh time, I think I'm going to say that this show is based on opinions. My opinions, your opinions, our opinions. A discussion, rather, debate, whatever word you want to use, but it's all based on opinions. I am not factually putting my name, stamp, brand on anything said from here on out. So know that if I say something, I'm either going to reference where I get it from, or it's definitely going to be an opinion. I am not here to be a fact checker. This is not the fact check podcast. I'm more than sure they may have one of those, but this is not that podcast. We're definitely going to get this chair worked out. Might need a little WD-40. I can't, I can't deal with the squeak. But we go work out the kinks. Just bear with me, and my whole thing is I hope to entertain and add some value to your day, or at least twice a week, pretty much. Um, all right, we've got the introduction out the way. I'm basically about to spin into how the podcast would be if I didn't just give y'all however minutes spiel that was introducing myself. And again, if you didn't get it, my name is Nug, Nug. That's literally my nickname. I've been Nug since I was like 8 months, something like that. Very little. I got the nickname. It's a family nickname. Nug, Nugget. Um, that's who I am before and after and in between of all this other stuff. I'm a father. Um, I'm a real estate agent, but you will very rarely hear me speak about real estate on my podcast. I One of the reasons I'm doing this podcast is a therapeutic way to still be creative and as an outlet away from real estate. Because I mean, real estate is stressful in Alabama. I mean, I'm gonna just keep it real. I'm not one of the hotshot agents, so every day is pretty much a grind, you know. And we're not gonna cry about it. We're gonna keep on going. I mean, I got a couple houses under contract and a couple people in the pipeline, like they say. So, it is what it is. But yeah, you'll very rarely hear me speak on real estate unless that's a trending topic of the time. And again, I'm still no expert. I've been in real estate 7 years, and every day I learn something new in real estate. So, yeah, that's enough talking about real estate. Let's jump right into it. In the world news category, and on a sad note, Johannesburg, and that's in South Africa, there was a fire in a apartment or building complex, and the death toll has risen to 76 people lost their lives in a very horrible fire in Johannesburg, Africa, South Africa. So we definitely want to send some condolences over that way. I do touch on world news. I do touch on national news. I try to keep it positive, and at the same time, I try to talk about stories that I see garner the attention that I want to my channel. And that's not to say every world news I speak of is going to be something horrible as this, but I will speak on something in the world. And it just so happened to be this story here. And again, we send out condolences and prayers over that way. Um, Over here in the States, in terms of some news, George Soros, I'm from Louisiana. You got to bear with me. The billionaire investor and philanthropist with the what he got the conspiracy theories around his name. Saros, George. I'm having trouble with the word. I knew I was gonna have trouble with it. You got to bear with me. Um, Yeah, he as a billionaire, he's ceding control of his 25 billion, and that's with a B, dollar empire to one of his younger sons, Alexander Soros, according to the Wall Street Journal. If you're not familiar with dude, I don't know like that much about him, but I do know if you look him up, he's got a lot of conspiracy theories around his name, and I believe the Black Lives Matter movement and a couple of other things that conspiracy theories attach his name to. But yeah, he's older, and he letting his son control the money. And I guess if I had to give a take on that, I would just say, you know, he know what he doing. He a billionaire. You don't become a billionaire not knowing what you're doing. So that's gonna be my take on that one. Um, Moving on to entertainment and hip hop news. Puffy, P Diddy, Sean Combs, Mr. Ciroc. He's got a lot of names. Brother Love. He has finally returned Mace's publishing rights. And this is according to Mace's close friend Cameron's IG post, stating that Puffy, Sean Combs has finally done the right thing and gave at least one of his former artists their publishing rights, which is obviously a good thing. You want to own your publishing, so when somebody sample or some commercial have um, a lyric of yours in it, you really get paid for it instead of you hearing it and you don't get paid for it. So publishing is very important. Probably in the intro didn't mention, but I am a former rapper. I hate using that word. Rap artist, MC, spitter, if you will. So I do know a lot about the music industry. Again, I'm no expert, but it's one of my biggest interests. So you're going to hear a lot about music in this podcast as well. Um, Speaking of, as a segue, BG of the Hot Boys, big group, Juvie, Turk, Lil Wayne, and BG, who I'm speaking of right now, is said to be freed in a matter of days or in the next few days. Um, we've heard a lot about BG being free or about to get out for like a half a year now. So I'm not surprised that he will be free here in a few days. I look forward to some new music and the Hot Boys reunion, like a lot of people probably looking forward to. And I want nothing but good things from him. He from the city. He one of my favorite artists. He was one of my brother's definitely favorite artists. Um, I grew up on Cash Money. I'm 45, so I mean it ain't no secret. In the city, you listen to Cash Money records, so that was just one thing you did. I got a cousin chiming in, and the first thing I'm gonna do is let him know we on the podcast, and he may hang up, he may not, but let's see what's going on. And I did not tell him to call either. This is purely random, but I like it. Hey, real quick, I'm on the podcast, and I just hung up. Right, I just picked up to tell you I'm on the podcast. I'll call you back. All right, cool. Yeah, I forgot the audio wouldn't go through because I already cut all my phone audio off so it don't ring. So that wouldn't have worked anyway. But moving on, in the news of the I can't make this shit up category. A man in Nebraska, listen and feel me. This is a wild story. A man in Nebraska was pulled over with a bull, a full-fledged bull, riding shotgun in his car. I can't make this up. Police gave him a warning. Y'all can go Google this and look it up. It's all over Google. Looked like he got like a makeshift little looked like a little stable connected to the car. And I don't know if it was a Crown Vic or what, but he had a bull in the car in Nebraska. I mean, hey, I don't know. That's pretty weird to me. I thought it was weird. But he got a warning. So hey. Moving on to sports. Listen, this is my time of year. College football has kicked off. The NFL is not but a few weeks behind us. Football is here, and I'm not talking soccer. And I mess with soccer now, don't get me wrong, but football is upon us. College football is back. I'm so happy. I don't even know what else to do. I gotta just tell y'all, I went to my favorite betting wagering site, and I had some money in my account. So I usually don't bet week one. I'm gonna stick to that. But hey, I feel good to have some money in my account from last season. And week two, I will be wagering. And nah, it ain't just about the betting. I love football. I grew up on it. It reminds me of my mom. My mom loved football. Anybody who know me and know my mom know like mama loved football. She was into football so deep where she ain't just surface fan with it. She go deep into the depth chart type fan with it, and she loved football and sports, and that's where I get my love and passion from it. And I love football. So, with that being said, last night Utah came ready to play. I don't know what the Florida Gators was doing besides making the SEC look like trash. They wasn't ready to play no football. Utah whooped them bad. Minnesota, it was a low scoring good game against Nebraska. That was a good game in terms of both teams being ready to play week one, and it's competitive. I want to say it was like 13 or something, but Minnesota ended up winning over Nebraska. Nebraska had a trick play that scored a touchdown. It was a good game, real good game. Looking forward to the big matchups this weekend. Obviously, everybody wants to see and know what Coach Prime go do. His first game out the gate is TCU. I don't know. Like I love Prime. I know he go win some ball games, but will he win week one? Underdog. I think he coming in as a -20. I'm gonna take them points if I was gambling week one. But do I think he go win out the gate in terms of TCU? Nah. I hope it's a good game and it's a competitive game, and then they move on to their what they call it, I guess divisional games or league games or whatever they call it, conference. They conference games and be successful. And I know next year they move into a whole nother bigger conference, which is more money, more publicity, and all that good hype stuff. But I mean, I'm gonna just have to tell y'all a little secret. Dion is my favorite athlete of all athletes. So, with that being said, of course, I want Colorado to do well, and I can't wait to see what Colorado do because as a football fan, they was like 3 and something last year. So 4 games will be better than they was last year. And do I think Prime could win more than 4 games this year? Yes. So overall, I'm gonna say 6 games. That'll get you in the bowl as well. So I'm gonna say 6 games is what I see Colorado doing next year for the season. Just my take. Um, Moving on again with some of the big matchups. North Carolina and South Carolina. That's a rivalry game, border state game that's usually played in the middle of the season, but they playing it this weekend, and obviously Sunday, my LSU Tigers versus my former Florida State Seminoles. Because if you're following me, Dion used to play for Florida State when I was a Jit, and that's who I watched and loved watching. Florida State with Bobby Bowen and Warwick Dunn and Charlie Ward and obviously Dion. And listen, yes, I was a Seminole. When I was watching college, I was little. I was not grew up LSU. At present, I'm LSU Saints. Now that I'm into college football, Auburn, LSU Saints. That's like what ah, I'm with them. That's my holy grail. Um, Obviously Saints because I was born into it, but LSU they grew on me later. Like I didn't grow up in college. I grew up like Saints. I won't lie. When I watched college, Florida State was on, Michigan was on. Who else was on? I think Nebraska, the Hurricanes. But I'm a big Dion fan, so I was huge on Florida State. Like that's how that connection came. But just getting right back into it, and as a segue, Florida State is in the ACC. The ACC as a conference will be adding Stanford, Cal, and SMU to their conference starting what that is, the 24th and 25th season. So that realignment thing just continuing. Like I stated, Colorado, they're going to another conference. I don't want to say the conference and I'm wrong and I don't have it wrote in front of me, but Dion got them moving to a bigger conference. So that's more eyes on Colorado. Again, I see five to I know I said 6, but I'm gonna say 5.5, and there's no half games. I see 5.5 game season. Anything else will be spectacular for Colorado and the Buffaloes. Um, NFL right around the corner. Obviously, I'm wondering what will my Saints do. Like I, I got a question mark. I'm not one of them fans that just feel like we going to the Super Bowl every year or um, we gonna have the best record. Nah, we got a new quarterback, Carr. We got Elvin Kamara gonna be out 3 weeks or 3 games or something like that for a suspension. I know everybody say we got great receivers. Jimmy Graham made the roster. I don't even know who the starting tight end, but is he the starting tight end? I'm not up on that position that much, but I know Jimmy Graham. He on the team. He a tight end. I don't know. I'm just a wait and see type person. How many wins I think we gonna have? 9, a solid 9. Will it be enough to win the NFC South? Maybe. But again, Atlanta, they got that running back. If that running back from Texas really be running that thing like he was running that thing, we may have a problem for 2 games. But on the other side, they say our defense is stacked. I don't know. I like to watch some games and then I feel like I know what's going on. I don't do the off-season hype. And speaking of the off-season hype, everybody in the league obviously talking about Aaron Rodgers and them Jets. I don't know, man. Like they in a tough division, so we go wait and see over there. I know things that I'm dying to see is the Ravens. I want to see how Lamar and OBJ do and how that team do in terms of if he could stay healthy, Lamar Jackson and OBJ, if they could stay healthy, I want to know what the Ravens go do. I'm an NFL fan because I just love the storylines. A lot of people in different places. I want to see how this player, mesh with his new team, and it's just a lot in the NFL to keep up with. But I love it. Like I love it. New coaching changes. How that's go affect the first round draft picks. They throwing a lot of them in there. I want to see how that do, and that's at the Colts, the Panthers, and the Texans. They all throwing their rookies in. So I mean, I'm excited. Like I love NFL. Like that's my shiznit. Like no bullshit. Moving on though. The U.S. Open in full swing, and that's a pun intended. Ben Shelton won his match today. He recorded the fastest serve uh, so far at 147 miles per hour. To put that in perspective, I played tennis. I played college tennis. I played in high school. My highest recorded serve that was inbound was 110. So put another 37 miles per hour on top of that. I mean, that's a lot. That's a fast ass serve that probably got him an ace. Because I mean, that's a lot to try to return. But Big Foe, Tiafo, as far as I know, he won his third round match. Let me double check that real quick. I got my phone right here by me. I don't want to just say Big Foe won and the dude came back and beat him. Let me make sure that this is official real quick. I know Coco Golf, she playing a little later today. Um, on a sad note, I think I watched Venus play her last match at the Open the other day in a one-sided loss. Like I don't know. I grew up watching her, and I think they say she was 43. I'm 45 or something like that. So we pretty much the same age. Let me see if let's see if he won. That's what I want to know. Scores, because I don't want to say he won and he didn't. That's like not being a good journalist, creator, podcaster. At least you could fact check. All right, let's see. Third round. Third round. I don't see him. I don't see him. I see Sheldon. Oh, okay. He won. It's a final. It was a close one, but it was a final. He won. Okay. Big Foe. Big Foe won. Okay. Okay. Um, yeah. Honestly, we've come to the end of this show. I mean, I'm gonna obviously elaborate more as we interact, and the show's gonna grow in terms of its length, but I'm never gonna be on here just talking to hear myself talk. I'm here to gain some value in your day, entertain you, and obviously, like I say, it's like a stress reliever for me. It's like therapy. If you only knew how stressful my life was, you'll be like, damn, dog, you might go do 3 podcasts. But I take it all in stride, and at the same time, I try to smile through it all. But again, this is the end of the show. I want to thank y'all for the few folks that watched live. I want to thank y'all for the folks that's gonna go back and watch. Um, Again, I want to thank Star of the Star Report for looking out and all he's doing to garner me a little, couple viewers, and because I know I gotta make you want to come back and make you think that I'm at least worthy of a view, a click, um, a subscription. So again, we go close it with my closing segment, which is this day in history. All right. September 1st, 1972, a 29-year-old American named Bobby Fischer, you might have heard of the name, he became the USA's first and only world chess champion, defeating the title holder, a Russian. And y'all know we still beefing with Russia. And we was beefing with Russia back then. So for Bobby Fischer to whoop that ass in chess, listen, in 1972, this was big news this day in history. Again, I'm Nug the narrator. I want to thank y'all. Tune in. We gonna work with the lighting. We gonna work with the audio. We gonna get us a showrunner. This was like the pilot episode. When I say 2 times a week, that's twice in 7 days. So obviously, if I feel, hey, we got something that's really going on, and I got a whole show, I'll come back tomorrow. Nah, if not, it'll be the day after. But in between them 7 days, I'll be back to offer you news, current events, sports, life in general, and to spend a little time with Nug the narrator. And that's my take podcast. Again, I thank y'all. Y'all have a good evening. Happy Labor Day. We out.